This is an example of what each of us will be able to do on the website, or the game or app on the phone. It's all going to be the same experience, but you can, it's a seamless experience between all your devices. But through this amazing Torah app, essentially it's a text editor to be able to handle divine documents such as the Torah. You see, text editors are man-made to handle man-made documents, and we need a text editor to handle a godly document. And so, because of all the intricacies, as we will see now, B'ezrat Hashem. Okay, first of all, the script of the Torah is in Ketav Ashurit. These are the Aleph-Bet in their true forms. The Aleph-Bet in black, as you see here, that is exactly as they would appear on an authentic scroll. In Ketav Ashurit, the script of assurance, the script that assures that Hashem is amazing and the Torah is divine, every single symbol or picture. The Aleph-Bet are pictures which kids who, like myself, who hate reading, it's the greatest thing because you're not reading letters, you're really seeing pictures. These words are each made of these pictures, and there is the definition of things is in the things themselves. The definition of the Aleph-Bet is in the Aleph-Bet themselves, of what they depict, and the words that then are comprised with these Aleph-Bet. The definitions of things are in the things themselves, as the sages say. Hagon Rav Aryeh Kaplan, Zatzal, Hagon Rav Moshe Shapira, Zatzal. And yeah, so under it is the targoom that has been lined up. The targoom is the meaning of the words, and it's not a different language. That is the greatest cover-up in history, because again, Aramit, it would be the equivalent of writing English in like an Italian accent. You would read it and you wouldn't even know what it says there. So Aramit looks like another language, but it's a heavy accent of Hebrew written. It's written as if the person speaking would have a very heavy accent of Hebrew, and that's Aramaic. That is what it is. It has the word Ramai in it, Aramaic. Ramai, because it fools you, or fools people, into thinking that this is a new language, when it's not at all. It's simply a very heavy, specific accent of Lashon HaKodesh, and I confirm this fact in the words of Reb Levi Ashkenazi HaMedakdek from 500 years ago at the start of the printing press, where he got his Sfarim printed with full nikud, which is an amazing feat, obviously, to know how they used to print books, especially in Lashon HaKodesh. I mean, he would have to line up, or the printers would line up the books. Tiny little metal plates backwards, with individual plates for all the nikudot, because this is a separate thing. You have to scribe the accuracy you have to make a dot in between that space, to not hit the top or the bottom. And just that this has to be centered to the letter, and, all of these things. So, the Targum has been lined up, and the Targum is the meaning of the words, because whenever you speak, there's two things that are going on. There are the words you say, and there is what you mean by those words. As the Gra, this is in the name of Hagon Rav Moshe Shapira Zatzal, teaches in the name of the Gra, where I saw this in the Gra, from the Gra's Haggadah Pninei HaGaon Mivilna by Tvuna Publishers. There, anyway, the Gra explains the difference between Dibur and Amirah. So essentially, the Torah text is the Dibur, the Targum is the Amirah. In the simplest fashion, the Torah text are the words, and the Targum is the meaning. It's the Amirah. It's what you're saying inside your mind, inside your heart. Your heart, meaning not your physical pump, but you feel emotions in your chest. Heartbreak is felt in the chest, or whatever. Or other emotions, I'm sure, should feel as well. Excitement builds up, here as well. So, but the heart is referred to as the mind and all your emotions and everything. So it's really, as Hagon Rav Aryeh Kaplan Zatzal explains. And so it's the mind and emotions together. It's I guess that's the heart. So okay, and so Amirah is what's in the heart of the speaker. So to give an example of this would be like, let's say, sarcasm or whatever. No, you know, forgetting that even, just I could do that another time, but here is basically just if a person says like, that's, you know, or in basketball I say like, that kid is a beast. I don't mean that that kid has hair on his face and whatever, you know, sharp claws and whatever. I mean that that kid is athletic and quick, like some kind of wild creature. So there are the words that I said, that kid is a beast, and then there's what I mean by it. I don't mean that that kid, you know, had some kind of werewolf-like creature. I mean that exactly what I mean. You already know what I mean. So that's basically the dip, or what's happening here, and that's why the sages, Baruch Hashem, have then committed the Targum to writing to ensure that it would never be forgotten. They have written the meaning of the words so that the meaning should never be disputed as to what was meant or what was intended, because they're telling you exactly what was intended. And especially this Targum, all of the Targums, but this Targum is from Yonatan ben Uziel, who in his own right, who he was, essentially the Targum should be given in Ktav Ashurit as well, but it would be too intense. But not only Yonatan ben Uziel alone, that's already enough, as we'll learn in the sources, B'ezrat Hashem, in the sources video, who is Yonatan ben Uziel. But he said the Targum from Chagai, Zechariah, and Malachi. The last three prophets themselves are the ones to explain or write out what is meant by the words of the prophets. So it's the prophets themselves who only they could give the correct meaning, because they are prophets. They know what is being prophesied here. And so the Targum was committed to writing, and basically here in the Megillah means revelation, and all of this is not understood until the Targum is actually seen what's going on here, like what is happening here. So you have the pasuk that begins Vahi bimei Achashverosh hu Achashverosh, and look at all of that text, and then it continues Hamolech mehodu ve'ad Kush. So there's all this meaning that the Targum is that most people, myself included, we would never get this. And this is the fullness of the story. It's really understanding the meaning of the words. What is Hashem saying to all of us? Or what are we supposed to get out of this whole story? What is the meaning of this story? What is the meaning? What is the purpose? What actually happened and what's taking place? And the Targum this is like the sages walking us through every single word of Tanakh. That is what the Targum is. It's the sages walking every one of us through every single word of Tanakh to ensure that we would all understand every single word and no one would ever misunderstand again, and we could finally we see the fullness, because again, you can mean so much by one word. That is basically, well, I don't know if that's a person, but especially speaking about the words of the prophets. Megilat Ester, you see, the word Tanakh is comprised of 3 otiyot, 3 signs and symbols. Anyway, the tav is for Torah, the nun for Nevi'im, the kaf is for Ketuvim. Torah, the Targum of the word Torah is Oraita. The meaning of the word Torah is Oraita. It's like the light, but the light of truth, because it's written with the Aleph Bet in their true forms. It's written with these 22 most gorgeous minimalist pictures, signs, symbols, pictures that Hashem is amazing, and the Torah is divine, every single ot, every single picture. Paro said to Moshe, give me an ot, like give me a sign that Hashem is real. Well, we have 22 otiyot, 22 signs, symbols, pictures that prove just 22 facts of life. You don't argue if you hold your hand in front of your face, assuming you can see your hand and everything, whatever. Like, you don't argue that your hand is in front of your face. You just simply see it. You know, you don't have to, it's not I believe my hand is in my, that's what it is. And that's what you get when you see these symbols, and actually, B'ezrat Hashem, as we'll learn about it. I'll never leave anyone hanging like that. When I say that, anything like that, I probably have videos, or I will be making videos to explain everything, because everything that's said is going to be explained to the fullest, B'ezrat Hashem, in the best way. Alright, and here, so the Tanakh, and basically, the kid asked, it says that when the Targoom for Nevi'im was written, there was a huge earthquake that shook all of Eretz Yisrael. And basically, the kid asks, how come when the Targum for the Nevi'im was written, there was this massive earthquake, but when the Targum of the Torah was given, there wasn't this earthquake? Because the Torah, so the teacher answers the kid that, and this is the correct way, the kid asks and the teacher answers. So that's how education works, and it seems to be reversed in the world. Teachers who know everything are asking the kids the questions who don't know anything. I don't know what is the point of that. Anyway, whatever. That's for another video. But here, so the teacher says to him, because the words of Torah are pretty much explicit, except obviously for certain parts of the Torah, which we can clearly see that they're cryptic, and the more cryptic the words are, the more the Targum is going to write them out fully, in full detail, explaining everything, because it's the meaning, it's exactly what you mean. It's the meaning of the text, so the more you mean behind these words. So basically, Nevi'im is half explicit and half cryptic. So when the Targum was written down for Nevi'im, now all of these secrets, half the secrets were now being revealed to the public for the first time, because Aramit is the language of Am Yisrael, always was. Starting with Abraham and Sarah, from Aram Nahorayim. Their son Yitzchak married Rivka, the sister of Lavan HaArami, Lavan the Armenian. Rivka, the sister of Lavan HaArami. Rivka spoke Aramit, Lavan spoke Aramit, Abraham and Sarah spoke Aramit, Yitzchak spoke Aramit. Yaakov was told to go live with Lavan HaArami for 14 years. There, the daughters of Lavan HaArami, Lavan the Armenian, who speaks the language of Aram, which is Aramit, was Rachel, who spoke Aramit, Leah spoke Aramit, Yaakov spoke Aramit, or learned to speak during those 14 years stay. And it's interesting that the sages then teach that a 15-year-old begins learning Talmud, which is in Aramit. Aramit, the language that fools you into thinking it's a new language, but Aramit, the truth is hidden in Aramit. Emet is in the word Aramit, in the correct order. Emet is hidden here as well, in megilat ester. And the sages transmit this name together, specifically megilat ester. The other ones are not referred to as megilot, at least in that teaching. But, so the point of all that, to finish that, is the fact that, so Nevi'im is half explicit, half cryptic, making Ketuvim, following the pattern. The Torah is pretty much explicit, Nevi'im is half and half, making Ketuvim almost entirely cryptic. Therefore, the more cryptic it is, the more the Targum, the more words, right?